Alright folks, so what we have here is a Spyderco Paramilitary 2, and there's some debate as if this is a sprint run or if it's a dealer exclusive. I don't know and I don't really care. What we're going to do in this video is we're going to replace these brown or FDE or Coyote scales, whatever you want to call them, with some scales that I picked up in Digicam. So grab yourself a cold one, come on back, and we'll get started. Alright, hopefully everybody made it back. So what we're going to do in order to get this job done is break out my knife maintenance kit. Now I've got a video on this if you want to see it in more detail, but basically it's just a little toolkit that I have that I use when I do any of this work or maintenance on knives. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get started. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this pocket clip, then I'm going to take the scales off, and then unfortunately we're going to have to take the pivot out. Shouldn't be too much of a problem, but let's go ahead and get started and see what we can do here. These are probably, I was going to say they're probably Loctited in there and won't come out easy, but that actually came out pretty easy. Alright, so we got the pocket clip off. That's the easy part. Let's go ahead and take a look at this scale. I believe this is the bit. It fits. That one came out nice and easy. That one came out nice and easy. Well, it's not out yet now, is it? Alright. Now the next thing is going to be this pivot. And this Spyderco, I gotta switch the bit. Has a, I think they call it a bushing pivot in there, and this might give me some surprises. Well, look at that. Pivot screw came out just fine. So what you need to do with these is you have to kind of pop this up like that. There goes the lock. And as I turn this, I have to turn it because of the way that this enlarged lanyard pipe is. It's actually very difficult to get off of here. But what I don't want to do is I don't want to take the whole knife apart. So hopefully I can just pop this baby out. Let's see what we can do. And I don't want to cut myself either. Alright, I'm going to come back when I get this off. Alright, it took a little more finessing than I thought. And I did have to take the blade off because I didn't want to cut myself. And so it's a little grimy, so we'll go ahead and we'll clean that up. Now this is what the scale looks like when it's off. It's all ground out, G10. And then this would be the locking mechanism. You can see a little detent ball right there. So what we need to do now, first, is we're going to clean this goo off of that knife blade. And to do that, I just put a little ballistol on a paper towel, pick this knife up, and look at that, like magic, it's going. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to put this side back together, and we're going to do that with the green scale. Alright, so first thing, we got to get this blade back on here, and that we did. Next thing is that we need to get this back on here. And that's not too bad. Oh! Almost forgot the washer. That would have been terrible, right? So we have this all lined up. And then we are going to take our camo scale. Well, that's going to look good. Now I had a camo Paramilitary too. And I traded it with a buddy for some cigars, if I remember correctly. So now when I squeeze this, it's all being held together, but because of the way that lock mechanism works, it's ready to spring right apart. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put this pivot screw in. And I just want to get this knife back together. I will worry about getting everything tightened up and all that later. So I just want to get it assembled, and I'll tune the knife late. Dang it. I'll tune the knife later. So what we want to do now is we want to put the rest of the scale screws in. That's in there. Feeling good. Let's get this last one in. I was lucky. I picked these scales up off of a buddy on Instagram. He was selling them. Okay, you can see right there, taking a look at the back of it, we're not together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to press fit it. That press fitting's not going to work. Let me go find something and I'll come right back. Now I'm a firm believer that there's a tool for every job. And this one probably isn't it. So this is a cheap vise that I picked up off of Amazon for like $20. But it comes in perfect if you need a third hand or if you're doing something like this. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to gently squeeze this baby back together. Let me get it. There you go. Let's just hope it didn't break. Look at that, and we look good. I don't know if you can see that or not. I'm going to leave the vise right here in case I need it for the other side. Oh, I still have this screw. I took that off when we were off camera because I just wanted to make sure that I had some play there when I did the squeezing. Alright, so now we got to do the other side. So let's break it down. First we're going to take off the scale screws. Now I've seen some guys that actually have like anodized screws, like blue and stuff like that. And they look awesome with the single colored scales. I don't think they would look so good with the Digicam. Now this is a problem I'm kind of afraid, I was afraid of. This screw here, when I turn it, that side's spinning. So maybe I can tighten this one up to prohibit that. Otherwise, oh, look at that, it worked. Otherwise, you got to get a wrench in both sides. Alright, now that we have that, we are going to move to taking out this pivot screw. This side should be a little bit easier because it doesn't have the lock. I guess the lock pushes both directions now, doesn't it? Alright. The whole thing pops apart. Don't lose that bushing. I guess the blade comes off again. Hopefully this side comes off a little bit easier. But look at that, it doesn't. So now I got to repress it in that side. Hopefully it goes a little easier next time and I got to take this out. Let's try this and hopefully this isn't a difficult job. Alright folks, we got it out. It just took a little while of rocking it back and forth, and decided to be a little bit difficult, a little bit of a pain in the ass, but you know, that's what happens. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to reassemble this side of the knife. Let's get our blade in there. This is a really good way to look at, you can see how this lock actually works. Alright. Let's get this baby back together. Alright, so we're holding that down. We are going to put our phosphorus bronze washer in there. Now I need to get this, and unfortunately I don't remember which side's which. So then we're going to take the internal skeleton scale, or whatever the heck you want to call it. We're going to line it up, we're going to press it down. Now we're going to take our new camo scale and we're going to line it up, and then just like the other side we're going to do, oh shit, look at that. I bet you came off the, at least it came off the top side. Alright, so we're back in. Okay, what we want to do here is we want to do the pivot screw first. Once we get that in, the rest of this knife will stay together for us a little bit better. Whew, thank goodness. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put one of these scale screws in right here. You know, it'd be nice if I had two of these kits. That way I wouldn't be sitting here switching bits out the whole time. But instead of spending my money on something useful, I spend it on stuff I don't need. Alright. We're going to press fit this thing back together like we did the first time. Alright. There we go. We are in business. So we're almost there, back to having a Digicam Paramilitary. Alright. The next step, I got this last screw that I want to put in. Alright. See, this feels a little tight to me. And a lot of people will tighten and loosen this pivot screw to make this adjustment for the blade on these Paramilitary 2s, but actually this screw back here has more to do with it. Why? I'm not 100% sure, but I think it has something to do with the pivot. Alright, that's good enough for me for right now. Last thing, being a lefty, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the pocket clip back on. As a lefty pocket clip. This is going to be a little bit tough with this camera in a way, because I need to be able to see what I'm doing a little better with this. Boom, one. Two. Alright everybody, that's how you change the scales. Thanks for watching. I know it was a little bit of a long video and there's a couple of things that I got stuck up on, but that's it. Thanks everybody.